This is Suspenders Unbuttoned, a podcast where friends talk with friends about TV, movies, and books. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Suspenders Unbuttoned podcast. Today, we're excited to have Kel Adore with us. I'm Julie.
Hi, Julie. I'm Sarah. And hi, Kel. Welcome.
Hello. Thank you both for having me. I'm so excited to be here today.
We are excited to meet you. So, Julie, do you want to start us off?
Sure, because I screwed up our intro. That's what she's really laughing about. It's written in stone somewhere. So, welcome. So you're a singer-songwriter, and you have a new single released out, Still a Child. That's your third release. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, so I'm Kel Adore. For those of you who don't know me, I am a pop artist and model based in Los Angeles, California, and I'm originally from Denver, Colorado. I did grow up moving around a little bit, but I mainly claim Denver and just the Rocky Mountains as home. So I had a really special childhood. I was really lucky to have kind of the, classic suburban lifestyle, running around on the streets and riding bikes and just, terrorizing the neighborhood boys, all of that fun stuff. But I started writing songs ever since, I could talk. I mean, I would make up little, just kind of ditties, I guess you could call it, little songs I would sing when I was a kid. And then I think when I was 7 is when I kind of more formally wrote my first song. It was terrible, but, wonderful to start.
I love that.
So just kind of got involved there, and then I started singing with my sister, taking voice lessons. We would do a lot of duets locally and just little shows. So that's kind of where I got my start, and it's just amazing that now I get to live in Los Angeles and be releasing and recording, and it's just something that I never really thought I would actually be doing in a serious way because I didn't know how, but here I am.
Yes.
So it's really wonderful.
That's fun. I love that you started when you were 7, and it's something that's just carried on throughout your whole life. So what was the moment that kind of just made you say, like, this is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to figure out how to do it, even if you don't know how?
Yeah. Yes. Oh, that's such a good question, because I think everyone in their own way has to kind of face that. And I think, what do you want to be when you grow up? Who do you want to be when you grow up? Like, you could ask that question to a 7-year-old, you could ask that question to a 40-year-old, or even an 80-year-old and be like, I'm still figuring it out. So raising of hands, right? So for me, I actually went and I graduated early from high school, and I was like, okay, time to kind of figure out my life. And I decided to go to college and kind of go more of a traditional route. I didn't have experience or know people in the music industry. So I thought, this will still be good. I studied economics, and I do have a love for business and all of those things. But after I graduated and started working, I just was like, I cannot shake the feeling that I am supposed to be making music. Like, that's just in my soul at my core. And so I just was like, you know what, I'm going to figure it out. And I, at the time, thought, okay, I could be like a one-woman show. I'm going to learn how to produce. I'm going to learn how to mix and master. I'm going to, self-release, all of these things. And then I, learned that I should really lean into my strengths, start the songwriting and the performing, because when I tell you, I literally bought a mixing and mastering course, which is, if you don't know much about production and just making music, mixing and mastering is like the final step. It's like balancing the levels, all the volumes. And I thought I was learning how to produce, like how to compose, when I bought this course, because I didn't even know what mixing and mastering was. So there's definitely been, some hiccups along the way of like learning what the heck does this mean. But I really just feel like this is kind of what I'm supposed to be doing in life. And so it's such an honor that now I can be releasing music. I have 3 songs out, like you said. My latest is Still a Child. And it's just, I feel so lucky to be able to share it in this way. So thank you for allowing me to be here and talk about it.
You're so welcome.
I think it's so actually that you have a economics degree and that you have a love for business. Really, as an artist, you have to manage all those like financial. There's a business behind that. That may not
Yes.
be the worst choice that you ever made.
I appreciate that validation because I actually think I heard like a Kanye West quote, and he was saying a lot of artists are like, "Oh, I need to find a manager." He's like, "Artists don't need managers. Artists need CEOs." Because truly, you're right. Like it is a business. There are so many elements to it, and while, most artists love the creation and the music and the
Mhm.
art, you can't get it very far if you don't have that other piece. So it's I think for those who aren't in the industry, they may not always connect that and realize that, but for those who are in it, it's like it's kind of like being an entrepreneur.
Yeah. So we talk a lot to actors, and I always think that you're running your own small business,
Right.
right? Yeah. And so I
Yes.
see as a musician that you're running your own small business, and that in order to allow the creativity for you to write songs, like Still a Child, you have to be free enough to do that. So if you're wrapped up in everything else, it would be hard to do.
And it's so true. And I think for a while, because I have this background in economics, I did get kind of like just maybe over consumed by some of the
Mhm.
business sides. Like I would spend hours researching about trademarking music, and I didn't even have a song out to trademark. And I think it was kind of a distraction when I was figuring it out. But I'm like, oh, I'm doing something, and I was like, this is not relevant to me yet. But now it's definitely important. You've got to think about those things.
I
Yeah,
love that. So
absolutely.
did you graduate from from college and you have your degree and then you just said like I don't think I want to do this, or did you actually start down the path of having a career in economics?
Oh yeah, I started down the path, and for a little bit I thought like I remember I was in a job interview and I like told this person I want to be the CEO of this company in, corporate America. I said I'm ready to climb the corporate ladder and like I'll be the president of the United States. Like I literally had this part of me that was like still very ambitious, but I think it was just a little misdirected now that I
Mm.
have some perspective. I think, oftentimes when we are, let's say we're ambitious or determined or hardworking people, sometimes it's easy to just apply that to the default of what society expects and kind of the traditional path. And so I think I had this ambition inside of me, but I was applying it to other things. And then once I made that switch, I was like, oh, this feels better. Like I can still be those things. I can still pursue those things, and live a fulfilling life. But just applying it to the right thing is important.
I feel like that takes a lot of courage.
Mm.
Yeah.
I will say it sometimes. Like I'm like, man, what am I doing? Like it is a lot easier, and not to diminish, other career paths at all, but I do think sometimes it's easier to just go, okay, I'm just going to work within the systems that I
Right.
know. Um, but I did hear an analogy that I really liked, and I like to share it because I think it's helpful when others who are, trying to be actors or musicians or start a pottery business,
Mhm.
whatever it is. It's that there's essentially a lot of times people think about like, okay, to pivot or to change what you're doing, you're jumping off a cliff. They have this analogy of jumping off a cliff, but really what they say is there's one side of the cliff here and one over here. And some people just want to walk and hop and then they fall into the chasm and it's really hard. Some people make it great, but the truth is there's a pile of boulders on the side you're standing on. And if you can just take one boulder at a time and roll it over off the cliff, soon enough that chasm will fill up and you will walk over. So I think that's especially helpful for creatives who are just so ready to like jump in. I think that advice really helped me to kind of like be a little more methodical
Mm.
and slow down and just go, hey, one step at a time. And, now I'm here in Los Angeles and never thought that would happen. But I think because I took it one step at a time, that's what can happen. So
I love that. So, how long from the time you decided I'm not going to be in economics, but I'm going to be a musician until you got your first song really out there for people to listen to?
Gosh, I want to say I had kind of this idea of like, okay, I'm gonna seriously do this maybe in like 2019, but then
Mhm.
but it was kind of just like I'll just do it on the side. I was like, I'll
Mhm.
just do it on the side, you know. But then 2020
Yes.
pandemic, wake up call for everyone, right?
Yeah.
That was the year that I was like, okay, I'm gonna be a little more serious about it. And then that was also the year that I found my current producer. And then 2021 came. I moved to LA. That was about a year ago now. And then I've been, here working on music and just kind of, figuring out my live shows and playing some stuff live and my own music live, which has been really fun. So yeah, I mean, I think I've heard it takes 10 years for every overnight success. So, it takes time to kind of figure things out, and I'm lucky to be able to do it.
So kicking boulders, you were kicking boulders.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
And I still am. I mean, I don't want to
Right.
sound like I've made it yet at all. Like I'm still kicking boulders, and I think that's the hustle, right?
Right. Well, you're getting closer now, right?
Yes.
I think the most successful people as artists continue to kick boulders for things to allow them to be creative. And I think when you stop, that's when you no longer can be creative. So,
Mm,
yeah. So I think you'll probably be kicking boulders for the rest of your life, right?
that's a good point, right? It doesn't end. It's
Because
gonna
it's
be a
like
new
always
challenge.
something different to do creatively,
Right.
you're going to be working
Yeah.
on something new.
Right.
Yeah.
So tell us how did this Feed the Soul virtual tour come about?
Thank you for asking about this because I am so excited I get to do this. So, when I moved to LA about a year ago, like I said, I kind of mainly lived in suburbs my whole life, and just, being in a big city for the first time, especially Los Angeles, it's just massive. It's kind of this huge conglomeration of neighborhoods, but there's different pockets. And I really, one of the first things I noticed was like, you drive down, let's say Rodeo Drive, for example, where there's luxury brands, luxury cars, like so much flashy wealth. And then 10 feet away, there's somebody that's sleeping on the ground, that's, not able to eat, that is just kind of on the streets trying to literally survive. And so I think I was just exposed to a lot of more direct encounters with the homeless problem, and also with just the hunger crisis. And my personal mission is to feed the soul with my music. So it kind of was this natural transition of, well, if my goal with music is not just to entertain, but to feed people's souls and to connect people, maybe I can also get involved with actually feeding people physically and shining light on some of these issues. So I've started to partner with some organizations that are focused on ending the hunger crisis, and they do so much more than I could ever do alone. So my Feed the Soul virtual benefit tour is where I'm streaming and I'm raising money and I'm partnering with organizations. I've been able to go volunteer with some of them and just really shout their message and get eyes on their message. So it's been an honor to work with them, and really just really humbling. I mean, I would say that's kind of my biggest takeaway. Just like as you learn more and see what's happening, it's just really humbling.
Mm.
So we love there's a charity piece to your music and to your experience. We also we run some social media and some groups, and we've always walked alongside charity pieces as part of our social media. And so when we were reading this, we were both like, "Oh, this is a great fit." So
Right.
Oh, good.
we love that. So we saw you partnered with No Kid Hungry for. Will you be partnering with others along the way, or?
Yes, so I partnered with No Kid Hungry to kick it off. It kind of tied well with my Still a Child song. I wanted to focus on
Mhm.
childhood hunger. I also partnered with Hunger Action LA. I went downtown and volunteered with them. They have a whole service where they grab food that's going to waste
Mhm.
otherwise, and they sort it, they deliver it, and any food that's not consumable, they will put in a compost garden. So I'm also going to partner with Project Open Hand. So it's just amazing because there's real solutions for this problem, and I just am happy to be a part of it. But I did want to ask, I'm curious, what are some of the causes you guys are involved in?
We have picked different ones depending on what we're doing. So what was our last one?
So the big one was just sick kids in
Sick Kids Children's Hospital in Toronto, Canada was the last one. We did a birthday fundraiser.
We actually did do No Kids Hungry too. No Kid Hungry because we used that for Jackson Britt's wedding shower, baby shower.
Wedding shower. No baby yet. Wedding shower at
Ramen Drama, which is like a rom-com con.
Yep.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yes, they raised
a rom-com con.
Yeah. So they raised a lot of money for No Kid Hungry. So we were a little bit part of that.
And then Cancer Research of British Columbia was one that we walked alongside, and we'll pick others as we decide to do something fun, but charity giving, working with charities. We also worked with United Heroes League for the Christmas movie, and they support kids whose parents are in the military, in active military, with sports equipment and sporting events, distractions, camps, activities, things like that. So we've done a wide variety of things, but we're always looking for something that fits with maybe what we're currently doing. So I love that you're picking those things that are right there in your community that you can see, be involved in. Does that inspire you? Does that inspire you as an artist too?
Oh my goodness, totally. I mean, in fact, after I was volunteering with Hunger Action LA, I was driving home and I immediately just started thinking of song lyrics. I write in the car a lot. I my first car that I ever had, I literally would pound on the side of the console till it broke, just drumming and singing and coming up with songs. So after, volunteering with them, just some of the stories of these people were just so powerful that it definitely, I can see that coming into play of just inspiring my music. And I love drawing from other people's stories as well in my music. So, and I think more than anything too, it's just I feel like it's such a privilege that I get to be there and be a voice and kind of be in the position to have people listen to me and have ears and have eyes and just I want to direct that accordingly. So you guys are just involved in things as well, so I'm sure you can understand that feeling.
Right. It always it gives everything kind of a sense of a purpose, like a higher purpose. Like you're not just doing something for yourself, but you're doing something for something else. Like it gives a greater feeling and a greater meaning towards it. So I see how that could so easily inspire you and, become a part of who you are as an artist. We love that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Dog is barking.
Dog is barking. Sarah's in her basement in a closet.
I've been there.
Perfect. So do you have another quote stop on your tour planned yet, or?
Yes, so that's with Project Open Hand, which will be my next stop. I mean, it's virtual, so that's why I'm doing air quotes. But so that's going to be in October, and right now it's scheduled for October 18th. So, if you check out my Instagram or my Facebook, you will see kind of the live stream details once we get a little bit closer to that. So that's going to continue, and I'm just going to keep learning more and observing more and, going and singing and just having fun on the live stream and sharing my music, which is also just fun, but then raising some money.
So if people want to follow along on your Instagram and your Facebook, where can they find you at? What's your name? Is it just Kel Adore?
Yeah, so it's at Kel Adore Music on Instagram, and then it's at Kel Adore on TikTok, Twitter. Pretty much if you search Kel Adore, you'll find me, but usernames get taken sometimes. So sometimes there's a discrepancy.
Okay, perfect. That's exciting that so is there another song that's going to release then in October?
So I am working on some more music. I don't have anything, I don't have any release dates, unfortunately, but it's coming. I actually have a few songs that are in the works right now. One is done. Another one is almost done. Some are in the writing process. So I kind of have many projects that are a little bit open, but yes, hopefully soon I will have some more announcements because the music is going to keep coming and I'm going to keep sharing it. And yeah, that's what I want to do now. So you're going to have to listen to it.
That's exciting. When you're not making music, Kel, what would you be doing? What are some things you like to do?
So definitely hanging out with my dog and my husband, going to the beach, going outside. I love the sunshine. But I feel like I'm kind of a mix of things where sometimes I'm like, I need to go outside. And then there will be times where I'm like, I just want to stay at home and play Mario Kart. So, but kind of go back and forth between being the homebody and also just enjoying the beautiful weather. So
I think everyone can relate to that, right? I'll join you playing Mario Kart.
Yes.
My kids would love to play Mario Kart with you.
Yeah. I know. I mean, it's funny because I haven't played in years, and then we have this old GameCube that we pulled out because we had some family in town visiting, and I was like, oh, like I don't know, I'm not really gonna get into it. Like it's old, but then once I got hooked on it, I'm like, okay, I've gotta get into this again.
No, that we play games as a family. My children are young adults, and we get together and the games come out. So
oh yes,
I just can't get the Switch controller. Like I'm not good. I need like the old.
Well, you can get those for the new Nintendo Switch. You can go old school controller. They have both.
Yeah, no, I guess I didn't know that.
We'll teach Sarah something.
Got to bring you up to speed a little bit. But.
Right. I play Mario Kart. Yeah, no. The gaming systems originally belonged to me, so I'm the gamer in the house. So
yes. I love it.
Raise my children as gamers. It's great. I'm going to tell you this as a parent. When the game belongs to you and your kids get old enough to have friends over, then they have to ask you to use your video games. It's a great parenting technique.
You've hacked the system. Yeah.
So, it works. Sarah's like, I can't use the controller.
Oh my darn! I totally missed out on that.
You did not do that right. Give that pro tip. Give that pro tip. So when you were a child, what kind of music inspired you as a kid?
That's a good question too. Yeah, I grew up listening to a lot of country music. Both my parents are originally from Florida. My dad would go hunting on horseback with a bow and arrow. So he was, full on country Southern accent, So a lot of Shania Twain, which I actually reference her in my latest song, Still a Child. So had to shout her out. I listened to a lot of Johnny Cash. I also listened to a lot of Hannah Montana.
Yes. That's what
Hilary Duff and
Hilary Duff.
A lot of those classic. I think I loved Allie and AJ too because my sister and I, like I said earlier, would sing together, and so we loved Allie and AJ. But now I would say I'm a lot more inspired by Julia Michaels, John Bellion, artists that also are really big into writing, and they not only write for themselves, but they write hits for other artists. So that's really the cool thing about being a songwriter is just you can storytell. You're a storyteller of all different kinds of stories. And yeah, I think everyone says that they're like, I listen to all kinds of music, but everyone's like, well, you might listen to a lot, but what's kind of your native home base? What's really your go-to? And maybe it's boring, but I'm like pop, popular music.
No,
that's probably why I make it.
Yeah.
Sarah too. Her default is pop for sure.
It is.
Right?
Yeah,
it's gonna be hers is gonna be 90s pop, and mine's gonna be 80s pop. So we're all right.
It's pop for a reason, right? It's popular for a reason. So
yeah,
good.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's why it's the biggest hits. It's because that's what brings you in. That's what's home. Could you see yourself writing for others in the future?
Yes, absolutely. And I have actually written for others in the past. You may not have heard their songs, but just various bands, or I've had artists bring me in. I did also co-write on a song that's kind of more in the EDM lane. It's called Lightning Rod by T-Lux. So I've been able to do a little bit of that, but I'm really excited to do more of it because I just love that additional perspective of sharing someone else's story.
Right.
I love that singer-songwriter combo because you always kind of have your lane as a singer, but as a songwriter, it can be a lot broader. There's been some amazing artists who have done that. Prince was a big one. He had his lane as a singer, but as a songwriter, he wrote crazy wide variety, including big country hits. So
that's amazing. I didn't know that about Prince.
He didn't write always under his name, but he wrote some of the biggest hits in a wide variety of musics. Yeah.
Educated if there's a song he wrote.
I'd have to look him up now, but he's had a million hits. Well, he had.
Right.
Yeah.
No, but he was a prolific songwriter. And so it allows you to, as a performer, he was so, I was going to say such a niche, but it's like his own little niche even. It was like, there's Prince and everyone else is somewhere else. But as a songwriter, you can write anything else. And so I always think now that you said that, I was like, oh, I could see that, right? You have different experiences that go to different places, right? Right.
It's also, I mean, I find it's almost easier to write for other people. And when I do co-writes, even on my own music, I write with other people. And it's always nice to have someone else there that's like, kind of like the third party of just pulling things out. And so when I've written for others, they're like telling me, what they want to say or kind of what concept they want to go for. And it's really nice as that third party songwriter to be like, oh, okay, here's kind of like the kernel or the nut of what you're trying to say. And you can really help draw that out. So
I love that. What is your
encourage it
for writing when you're writing for yourself? What's your process like?
So it usually starts in the car, like I said, where I'll have an idea of just a melody, a hook, and I'll just put it on a voice memo. Sometimes, most of the time it's in the car because that's where I find I'm inspired a lot. But sometimes it's like I'll wake up or, something will happen and I'll just kind of have some ideas. So, man, I probably have hundreds of voice memos on my phone. And then once I get into the studio, I'll kind of know, okay, here's this idea, here's this concept. And then with my co-writers, whoever is there, we'll kind of just talk about everyone's stories, whether it's mine, whether it's a friends, or whether it's the co-writers or their friend or family, or just I've even drawn inspiration from books and movies. And so once we kind of have the central idea, then we start going into the writing process. And I'm usually just naturally really verses come super easy to me. I'm a verses girl. You'll find people that are really good with verses and those that are good with choruses. And some are amazing at both, and that's wonderful. But for me, I'm all about the details and the story and the pictures. So that's kind of where I start. And then we usually kind of go and lead into kind of the target. But it really depends. Every song's different. Yes. So that's a general thing.
Okay, I love that you use voice memo. That just makes so much sense to me because you could just dump what you're thinking. Yeah. Sarah just used video as a regular way to dump thoughts for us. So I kind of love the use of the technology you have at your fingertips to help you creatively. That's a fantastic use of something you have in your hands.
Yeah, and I mean, it makes it easy too. There's a lot of times too, I'll lay in bed at night and every night I just hear music in my head, or I dream about writing songs. And so I just have my phone out and I can just go, oh, I need to get that idea. But, in those instances, I'm half asleep and then I'm that idea sucked anyway. But you can pull from it.
You never know. Hey, what do you say we play our little game?
Oh yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So this is just a favorite things game. So we'll ask you a few what are your favorites? So we'll start with your favorite movie. Do you have a favorite movie?
Ooh, I love Bewitched. That's like my go-to comfort
Oh,
movie.
wow. I love that. I love that. How about a comfort TV show?
New Girl, absolutely New
Oh,
Girl.
that's mine.
Yay!
Love that.
How about your favorite food, a healthy and like your guilty indulgence food?
So healthy food, I would say maybe Brussels sprouts. Like I love a good roasted Brussels sprouts. I feel like I was totally lied to as a kid. Everyone was like, Brussels sprouts are gross. Like kids were made to think that they were not good. I'm like, these are a
Yeah,
hidden gem.
I would say it's my
So,
favorite. He's not 10 yet. 9-year-olds, I don't want to rush it. His
oh
favorite,
yeah.
but he's the only one that will eat them.
I feel like maybe what happened is like, this is my conspiracy theory. Maybe parents were like, these are so good. We're going to tell the kids that they're gross and then we can. But that's my favorite healthy one. And then my guilty pleasure is goldfish. Like as if I'm a 5-year-old, literally. I will eat a whole box by myself.
Yeah, you get the like giant curtain with the open mouth.
Yeah, when I was younger, my mom would buy like 2 cartons because they were like,
gone.
she's gonna eat all of them. Let's make sure we have enough for the family. So yeah, goldfish.
Yeah, one of my sons literally would walk around with the giant carton, right? So
I was doing that last week. I'm not even kidding you. I took the whole thing. Like I said, I had family in town. I was embarrassed to be eating so much goldfish. I took it into my bedroom and I was alone in my bedroom eating goldfish while
trust
we were
me,
playing games.
your family knows you're eating those goldfish.
I know they probably do know, but I didn't want the comments. I didn't want the.
So actually, I was listening to you talk about you're still a child and talking about how you are when you're young and how that you're just really the same. It just comes out differently. It's something I actually always tell my coworkers with little kids. I'm like, how your kid is that too? That's them. What makes them happy? What makes them sad? That doesn't change. Just how you see it is changes. And your goldfish is never going away. You're going to always love your goldfish.
You know, I'm so glad you recognize that too, because I think like that's something I've noticed. I have a lot of nieces and nephews. They're actually featured on the track, which was really special. But just seeing their little personality, like right out of the gate, they are who they are. And, you know, it's something I've kind of noticed in my life is just, you know, when we can kind of connect back to who we were when kids, that's when I think we can really find ourselves. And I just hope that when people listen to the song, it's kind of that reminder to reconnect with themselves. And so I love that you share that advice with your coworkers.
I'm the old one. Okay, hey,
No.
do you have a favorite restaurant?
Ooh. Okay, well that's hard because now that I'm in LA, there are so many good restaurants. But recently I discovered this amazing street taco place. I went to this venue called Winston House in Venice Beach, and afterwards the owners were like, hey, like we know this amazing taco place, let's all go with a group. So a group of us went over, and I think it's called Bootleg Tacos, but it's literally just like on the side of the road, very authentic street tacos. They're like, you know, shaving off the meat right there, and it's incredible. So
I have to say I have family in the LA area. And I remember when I was a kid going to my aunt used to live on Hermosa Beach. And she would always take us to Mexican, and it was a little like street corner Mexican place. And I wish I could remember the name, but it was like, I don't think I've ever had anything better than that ever. It was so
you
good.
cannot beat it. I mean, yeah, but there's so many good restaurants in LA. It's just hard to pick.
Yeah, for sure. Do you have a favorite hobby other than music?
It's not
a hobby.
I mean, like playing with my dog, does that count? I feel like I'm that crazy dog lady. Like all of my siblings have kids and they always joke, they're like, you're gonna just be like that dog person, and I'll like carry my dog around on my hip for fun. And I'm just like, who have I become?
Did I hear you say that you have you come from a big family?
Yes.
Or yeah, that's so fun.
Yeah, I'm the youngest of 5, actually. So we had a full house. Everyone now is married and has kids. I don't have kids yet, but yeah, we love it. Big family is great.
Super fun. We love a big family. There's 8 in my husband's family, or 9, and he's 8th of 9. So love a big extended family. So
makes it fun.
Yep. So who's your current favorite band or singer just to like listen to?
I've got to say John Bellion. I know I already said that, but I feel like he just has such a raw artistry. But I will say I have been really loving Sabrina Carpenter. I love me some Taylor Swift.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot. I know I'm giving you more than one answer, so
that's
not
perfect.
the rules of the game.
I love it when it's like got that like that. This is who I like because this music really just kind of speaks to me. But come on, I still like Taylor Swift, right?
Oh my gosh, she's incredible.
Right, she's incredible, and it's like sometimes it's like people don't want to say like those big names, anymore. But it's like really like they've impacted all of us. So
yes,
and I love her. She's also one that prolifically writes too. So so I do kind of like that connection.
Yeah, she definitely is just inspiring in so many ways, right? Her writing, her business savvy, her performing. So no shame here in being a Taylor Swift fan.
Yeah, absolutely.
In my state, unless she sold it.
Oh, really?
Yes. But I've never seen
it. There's comments over here. I love Brussels sprouts. I love to play
I missed all of
Super Mario Brothers 3. That's Angie. I'm gonna play a little Super Mario Brothers 3. I'm super good at SNES stuff, so that's my age.
Okay, I missed all these comments. I was on the
Nintendo Entertainment System.
Is that like the first one?
Nintendo, and then Super Nintendo was after that, and then there's Nintendo.
Okay.
Then Nintendo 64, and then it just keeps going.
And then it goes from there.
Right. Just keeps going. And now I just buy for my children, and they bring them when we're all together because it's all way more portable. We do also Wii was in there too before the current.
The Wii, yeah. One time I had the remote, the controller, and I was bowling, and I
threw it
right into my dad.
Did you crack the TV?
Almost. It was like wobbled.
I excessively bowl hard too, so that always made my husband super nervous. Here's the TV. Whatever, I'm gonna buy a new one then.
I remember on the Wii, trying to play tennis by myself. Did you guys ever match yourself in tennis and it's absolute chaos? Where you have one controller in one hand and then the other you're just trying.
Absolutely did not.
If you have the opportunity to do it, everyone needs to try it at least once in their life.
I feel like my boys probably did that because they just were that funny.
Yep.
I also had one son that used to do the whole golf thing, laying on the love seat and just swinging his arm.
Going for it.
Just maybe beat us all. Whatever. The Wii. It was supposed to make you active, but not really.
No, yeah. I can still do is laying down.
Okay.
I was going to say our last one is midnight snack, but I have a feeling it's goldfish.
Goldfish, or I'll give you a little bonus. Chocolate and then goldfish. I wouldn't eat it together, but if you have, maybe this is TMI gross, but if you have some chocolate left in your mouth and then you have a cheesy snack, it's so good.
So chocolate, cheesy, and salty actually is a fine thing. It's remember chocolate covered pretzels are delicious and it's that salty chocolate piece. So
so
it doesn't it's not as weird as you think it is.
Okay. I've got that now in my back pocket.
Yeah, you can just argue it every time. You're fine. You're fine. Okay, so if people want to listen to your music, where can they listen to it?
So I'm streaming on all major platforms, whether you're into Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music. You can look up Kel Adore. But you also can just find me on my socials or on my website, which is www.keladore.com. That's Kel with one L and adore like I adore you. So it makes it pretty easy. But
Yeah.
I would love for you to go listen and, shoot me a DM if you listen and you like it. And I'm always happy to chat with people.
I love it. And tell us again when your next stop on your virtual tour will be.
Right now, it's scheduled for October 18th. It might change. There's a few things up in the air, but
Okay.
October 18th.
Okay. And do you have anything live coming up? Are you going to be performing live?
So I have some things in the works, nothing announced yet, but if I do, it'll likely be in the LA area. So if you're in Los Angeles, stay tuned for that information as well.
Well, that's exciting.
Awesome.
Love it. Well, thank you,
Okay.
Kel, for being here with us. We love getting to know you and we love chatting with you and learning about your goldfish secret.
Yeah. Thank you for having me. It was so fun to chat with you both.
Well, thanks for telling us about all your music, and then stay with us for a minute after we leave, and we'll chat after we get off. All right.
Sounds